Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Good morning, everybody. Well, you're halfway through the week already, and by now you should already have some clear ideas of what your pavilion looks like and the way it will be powered. Now, Heriot-Watt University experts are going to talk to you to the next stage and start to formalise your floor plans. Now, it's important if you're a student working independently without support from your teacher or your school, please make this known to us in a live chat and we will support you as best we can. Now again, experts are on hand after the broadcast to answer your questions using the live chat facility. This is located next to the video player and is available 24/7 to ask any questions you have to our panel of experts from the construction industry. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. Now remember, the live chat facility is always moderated, so think about your screen name and questions, as anything appropriate will not be approved. Now, let's start with today's first video from Heriot-Watt University experts.
Good morning. This video is put together by my colleagues George and Shamil. Today we're looking at finalising your idea and drawing a floor plan.
Hello, my name is George Jaramillo. I'm an assistant professor of design here at Heriot-Watt University.
Hi, my name is Shamil Mohammed. I'm an assistant professor in architecture at Heriot-Watt University, Dubai. I currently teach and lead the second year design studio for the undergraduate BA program in architecture.
A floor plan is a type of bird's eye view that allows you to share how a building is built, how spaces relate to each other, and even the circulation and relationship of furniture and people to one another. First, let's talk about scale. Scale is a type of relationship or ratio between an artifact in the real world and the representation of that artifact in your drawing or form. Scale allows you to communicate and showcase something very, very large in a much smaller space. And it is an important tenet of architecture and design. For example, 1 unit to 1 unit is a 1-to-1 ratio scale. It represents a full-scale version. You can think about it as an item that has the exact same size and shape as the item that will get built. A 1-to-2 scale or ratio is an item that is built at half the size of its final form. So if you were to imagine a pencil or a large train, that scale at half scale, or 1-to-2, would be half the size of the building. With that idea in mind, you can continue to start to create larger scales or ratios. The second item that we're going to talk about is called the cut plane. In the example that we're talking about, imagine you take a pepper and you cut that pepper at a particular height. And if you were to imagine that pepper then, what that line or sketch of that pepper would look like when it was cut from above would be the cut plane. A horizontal cut plane is called a plan, and a vertical cut plane is called a section. With the cut plane, in buildings and in forms and other designs, that physical cut is an imaginary cut, and it allows you to envision what the space looks inside, the way that you would envision what the inside of a pepper would look like. Have a go at the example of cutting a pepper and imagining it, what that pepper form would look inside. What is the thickness of the walls of the pepper? What is the thickness of its seeds and its central form? How does the pepper differ from the outside to the inside? With these two key skills in place of scale and cut plane, you are now able to start to draw your own floor plan, whether be it for an object, a piece of furniture, or for the pavilion that you are drawing.
Does that make sense? My colleague Shamil is now going to go through step by step drawing an actual floor plan, and hopefully this will help you to draw some plans of your own pavilions.
So what I have here is a 1 centimeter dotted grid in here, which is readily available on the internet. So you can just take a print to use it as a base drawing. And first thing that we need to do is to determine a scale. And for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm using a scale which is 1 centimeter in this paper space is 1 meter in the actual physical world. So I'm going to write down that scale in here. Having set the scale, which is 1 centimeter as 1 meter, let's try to draw a living room of a dimension which is 5 meters by 4 meters. So I'm going to start marking on the grid. So that's where I'm going to start. 5 meters wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4 meters long. Just going to mark out a rectangle in here. Now, right next to the living room, I want to draw the dining room, let's say, and that's going to be 4 meters by 4 meters. So from there, I'm going to mark out 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in order to build the space, we need to have the space sort of marked out by walls. So the next step is to indicate that walls. Typically, an exterior wall is 20 centimeter in width, in thickness. So in order to depict that in this paper space, where 1 centimeter is 1 meter, 2 mm here would then be 20 centimeters in the actual. So you kind of offset this line by 2 mm in this. We also need a wall between the living and the dining room. This wall is called the internal partition wall, and that need not be as thick as the exterior wall. So that could be 10 centimeters. So in this paper space, it's going to be 0.1. Now, how do we get into this room? There's no opening, there's no door. We need to now attempt to draw a door that will give access to the living room and then into the dining room. So first, what we can do is to open up this wall by 1 meter, and then I'm going to draw a door in plan. That's the door itself and shows the thickness, and then I can draw the swing of the door that shows how the door is being opened. We've come into the living room, we're using that door in there, and we have to come into the dining room. We're going to introduce another door. Next, let's introduce some windows. These rooms, they require sunlight, natural light into the space. And for that, we need to introduce windows. So I'm going to open out a wider opening, and let's say this is the north side of the living room where I want to introduce the windows. I make an opening similar way as the door, but here it's much wider. That's going to be 3 meters wide. And then in order to indicate a window intersection, you have a center line which depicts the glass pane and its thick line. And then you have the sill lines which are fainter than the center line. So that's a window. Great. So now we have something very close to a plan that shows you the doors, the walls, and then the windows. It also tells you what space we have on the inside. That's the living room and the dining room. So let's go ahead, and now that we're sure of where the doors and windows are and where the walls are, I can now draw over it using a pen. Right, so that completes the plan. I'd like to show you how to draw some furniture within these spaces. And that also reflects what kind of spaces they are. So in the living room, you would find, let's say, a TV stand. So I'm going to show a TV stand in plan view, which is the top view. And that's going to be in a rectangle with the TV in here in top view. So the walls, the windows, the doors, they're all cut. You will see them as a geometry that is actually cut. But you see these geometries, the furniture layout, often indicated as an elevation line. In a living room, you also will have a couch. So I'm going to just depict a 3-seater couch that's facing the TV. In the dining room, you might have a nice dining table where people are sitting next to each other. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to draw a plan at a very basic level. Of course, you can all indicate dimensions if you want. So that gives a good idea for whoever's reading that plan. He or she understands the scale at 1 centimeter of this drawing is actually 1 meter on site. They also understand where is the wall, which is the external wall, which is the internal wall, where are the doors, and where are the windows, and what are the dimensions that they have.
So, I hope the explanation by George and then the walkthrough by Shamil has made it a bit clearer to you how to put together a plan. I'm just going to leave you now with some thoughts from Eamon, one of our students on Team Esteem, and her experience of putting together the plan for the Team Esteem house. Good luck with the plans for your own pavilions.
Looking back at how we made our Esteem floor plan, there was a very individual take that we took on it as a group, and using that I've created a poster which should hopefully help you understand the way we approached it and maybe help you guys. So it was something like this. So what I'm going to do is go through the different processes to eventually build you a floor plan. So what we did is first we looked at needs and desires. So when evaluating needs and desires, you have to take into consideration what kind of floor plan you're building and the way you intend to go about this. So for example, who do you want living in this house and who's it being built for? So are you building it for autistic people? Are you building it for people with dementia, the elderly, children? And this should start giving you hints of kind of stuff your house should have or the kind of stuff to avoid. Once you figure this part out, you go to the next part, which is to connect or not to connect. This part basically means what kind of connections would you like in your house and where would you like to be able to have access from what? Would you like to be able to keep some stuff private from everyone accessing them so easily? So after you figure these parts out, you can start using both of these to combine to start making what we call bubble drawings. So this would incorporate making something which looks like this. So this should start giving you more of a visual aspect of what your house is going to look like. Having done this, you can move to the most final stage, maybe the most grueling stage. So this is the main floor plan planning. Here you might end up with more plans than you think you'd eventually have. However, what you should do is use this to eventually come out with something that looks like this. So that incorporates making different array of plans which replicate this in the best way you think possible. So the way we went about it as a team is we had multiple plans and we narrowed it down to 4 that we really love. And using those 4, we created a pros and cons list about the ones that we liked the most. And then we gathered all the pros from the 4 and the best parts of each floor plan and made one big plan which looked like this. And that would be the best way to go about it, because that way you're incorporating the best ideas that you've had all the way through to make the most desirable version of what you call your house. And hopefully you can get there too. So this is just a basic quick way of what we did. But of course you can go back to whichever way you want, and hopefully this will help.
video on creating a mood board for your interior spaces follows on from the development of the plan that you've been working on. Once you've got a fair idea of the plan, you need to focus on what the spaces are like inside. And that includes thinking about furniture and layouts, but also about the position of lights, the size or heights of windows, the way that people move around the space, and particularly now thinking about materials, textures, and colour. These things are all communicated best by trying to select a collection of samples and put them together. And that gives your client, or the judges in this case, a good idea of the sorts of spaces that you want to create without you having to draw everything in great detail. So we're looking here for you to collect a series of images, colours or textures or materials which help us to understand what you want it to be like inside that space. I'm not an expert at this. I'm going to hand over to someone who is. Alison Hamilton Pride is an assistant professor at Heriot-Watt University, and she's an interior and environmental designer, and she'll be able to help you with creating a mood board.
Hi, my name is Alison Hamilton. I am an interior and environmental designer, and I'm also an assistant professor for Heriot-Watt University. So when I'm teaching, I teach to a wide variety of built environment students, usually to do with design and the design process. So today I'd love to share with you some top tips about creating a mood board for your materials and specifications for the inside of the building that you're designing. So I hope that you find it constructive and helpful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those finished designs. So when you're thinking about the interior of your building, you have to really think about who is going to be using this space. Who is the building actually for? If it's a public building, there's going to be lots of different people using this space, from older adults to young children to people with disabilities. So we need to make sure that this space is inclusive and accessible for all. And we need to make sure we're doing that when we're selecting our materials and specifications. So think about these carefully, the types of seating, the furniture that you use, the floor coverings, the wall colours, and any sort of lighting specifications that you might have within the space. Make sure that it's appropriate for the people that it will be using for its purpose. So there are two different types of mood board that you could create. You could create a paper mood board, so an actual sort of physical one. So you would need a piece of paper or a piece of card, and if you have some glue, that would be really helpful, and a pair of scissors. And if you have any of these sort of colour swatches lying around the house, those are also a really great thing to use to put on the mood board. This gives us an idea of the types of colours that you might want to put on. And also if you have any sort of magazines around as well, some photographs that you could cut out, that would really help to build the mood board. And also if you have any little scraps of materials or old clothing that is no longer being used, you could use these to sort of cut up little swatches and you could stick them onto the mood board as well. If you don't want to create an actual physical mood board, we could look at creating a digital mood board. So I love using digital mood boards, and there's lots of different apps, online softwares that you can actually use to keep a record of your mood board. So we could look at that as well. So thank you for watching.
I hope that's given you a pretty good idea of how to progress with this task. I'm now going to hand over to Iris from the student team Esteem to talk a bit about her experience of creating an interior design concept with the other students in Team Esteem.
In regards of the interior design, about the furniture, colors and texture, we are trying to find a unique style that comes from an international background. So we are trying to use different colors in each room to make it unique. However, also to make it fresh and modern for not only an Arabic culture, but also an international one. And one of the unique things from the interior design team is that we are trying to make our own furniture. So our team members are creating their own furniture, taking in consideration the measurements that is for everybody's need. And we are trying to incorporate really nice material as the CLT in the bathroom and in another rooms to make the house try to have like an equilibrium from the outside to the inside.
So another great video and some great advice as well from Heriot-Watt University experts there. Your questions coming in to the live chat facility and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And remember, if you are working on your own on this project, please get in touch and make it known to us on the live chat so we can help and support you as best we can. Don't forget to use the live chat facility to ask your questions and check out the resources tab for more information. Don't forget, make the most of this fantastic opportunity and we will see you back again here at 2 p.m. for another great video. See you then.
As wide as can be.
I am a rainbow.
I am a rainbow.
High in the sky.
High in the sky.
All of life's wonderful treasures am I. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma, Ava and Isaac for that. The question here is, Emma referred to 4 natural objects during her yoga warm-up. They were tree, ocean, rainbow, and can you recall the other one? Next, over to Andrew. Welcome to Andrew, who's talking to us about internet safety.
Hello and good morning everyone. Hi, my name's Andrew Smith. I work for Tamworth Borough Council. I'm one of the partnership officers and hopefully quite a few of you may know me as I come into schools regularly, to primary schools, and do talks on lots and lots of different subjects, including one of the things I'll be talking about over the next 10 weeks, which is online safety, which is so important, isn't it? Especially now, as so many of us, including myself, are spending so much time at home and probably going online a lot more than normal. So basically each week I'll be doing a short session about a different app. And today the app is a really important one because it's possibly the most downloaded one at the moment, particularly amongst young people, and it's all about TikTok. So we'll be doing some work about TikTok. At the end I'll be asking a question about it as well, and there'll be a task for you to do as well for next week. And at the start of each session I will go over the task I've given you the previous week before we start the new session. So lots of things to get through and I'm looking forward to it. It's obviously all a new thing, but hopefully you'll find it useful and interesting. So as I said, the first app that we're going to be looking at is TikTok. Now TikTok popularity has grown unbelievably over the past couple of years. It used to be an app called Musical.ly, then in 2017 it changed to TikTok, and it's just got so popular. And it's basically a video sharing app where you can download videos, music videos where you can dance and sing, and your friends and family, and if you're not careful, and we'll talk about this later, other people can see these videos, and we'll talk about the safety settings a bit later. But I know we've got an online chat here as well, so at any point you can ask questions, and I'm also going to ask you some questions as well. So first of all, I wonder how many of you know how old are you meant to be to have the TikTok app? So let's see if we can have a few answers come up now, because quite a few people are quite surprised at it. Okay, because obviously there's a lot of young people that do use it. I've seen people as young as 5, 6 use it, and obviously it can go up. But the actual age you're meant to be is 13. Meant to be 13 to use that, okay? And even if you're 18 or under, okay, you're meant to have your parents' permission to use it. Okay, but anyone under 13 using it should, if they're going to use it, be using a parent or a guardian's account. And obviously that parent or guardian should be aware of what you're looking at and what you're doing on TikTok. Because like any app, it can be fun if used correctly, and it can be great fun, but it can be really dangerous as well. So I just want to talk about now about privacy and safety settings. Now, when you use TikTok, the app, you can get into your privacy and safety settings. That's a very important section, because there you can choose who can send you private messages, who can react to your videos, who can comment on your videos, who can do duets with you, okay, and lots of important things like that, all relating to TikTok, okay. And you can set that to anybody. You can set that to just yourself, or you can set that to friends, okay, and people on your friends list or people that you're following, all right. And it's really important that you think about this carefully, okay, because what do you think is the best option? What do you think? Have a think about that now, and in the live chat perhaps write down what you think is the best. What's the best setting? Well, I would say for anybody, but particularly for young people, okay, the best setting is to have it just set as private as possible, with only people you know in real life able to connect with you. So that would be your real friends, your family, perhaps people you go to school with that you know and you get on well with, okay. The risk you've got is if you have the settings set to anybody, is obviously anybody then can see your videos and could potentially communicate with you, could send you a private message. And we've had problems with this with TikTok, okay. Lots of times where people, okay, who the person using the app doesn't know, have tried to get in touch with them via personal messages and sent things that really aren't appropriate, things that they shouldn't be seeing and asking, okay, and it can be quite scary and put people in quite a dangerous situation, okay. So please, please, please think carefully about who you're sharing your videos with, who can see your videos and who can send you private messages, okay. So be very, very careful with that. Now I just want to talk about what you should do if anyone ever sends you anything on TikTok, or you see anything on TikTok that you don't feel comfortable with, that you feel potentially unsafe with or not happy with, because it can happen, unfortunately. Hopefully most times when you're using TikTok there's never an issue and you can just have fun on it if you use it correctly, but sometimes these things do happen, and that's why you have to check the safety settings, as I said previously. But if somebody does try and send you a private message, or somebody is nasty to you, okay, on one of your videos, or isn't very nice to you, or maybe starts cyberbullying you, okay, what do you think you can do? What do you think the best thing to do is? Well, firstly, it's really important that you tell somebody as soon as possible, somebody you trust, an adult you trust. It could be mom or dad, family member, teacher at school, anybody that you trust, because as soon as you tell somebody, they can help you with it, okay. It's really, really helpful. Then you can show them what's been sent. You can screenshot it, save it. You can show them anything that's been sent that you shouldn't be, and you've got proof of it then. So it's important to save it and show them, okay. Also on TikTok, and I'm going to post this at the end of the video, okay, there are particular things you can do, and you can report people. You can report a video if it's inappropriate. You can report someone for sending you a nasty message, or sending you a nasty, or putting a nasty comment on one of your videos. And I'll screenshot some information that I'll put on at the end of the video. Okay, but the important thing is to talk, to tell somebody. Don't feel like you're alone, because the worst thing is if you don't tell somebody and you've got somebody constantly sending you nasty messages, and that can make you feel very sad, lonely, upset, and it's not a very good place to be in. Okay, so please, 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 if this is happening to you, talk to somebody you trust and they can help you. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed today's session and found it useful and got some safety advice about using TikTok. I'll be back next week, and I'll be talking about Minecraft then. But just before then, I want to leave you with a couple of tasks. Firstly, I'd like you all, whoever of you are using TikTok, to at some point this week go into the app and go and look at the safety and privacy settings, okay? And I want to see if you've got them on the correct settings. Hopefully you've got it set that only yourself, your friends and family that you know in real life can like your videos and comment on them and do duets with you and all things like that, the different things you can do on TikTok. So if you could look at that, that'd be fantastic. The other thing I'd like you to have a go at doing, give you something to do, is create and design a TikTok safety poster using some of the information that I've given you today, and some that you may well know already. Okay, So this is nearly the end of the broadcast now regarding the online safety. You can watch this again on catch up. You can watch the whole broadcast with all the other safety videos as well 48 hours after this, so you should be able to watch it on Friday on this site here. And what I'm going to do at the end of the video, there'll be a couple of screenshots of still pictures of safety information all regarding TikTok. So when you do watch it on catch up, you can come back and look at that, okay, because there's some really important safety information I've put at the end, all about your privacy settings and all about reporting somebody if you've got a problem, okay. So take care, have a safe week, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Andrew. The question is, what is the required minimum age for users to be able to use TikTok? And to finish this week, it's over to Nikki to calm us all down again.
Hi, my name's Nikki. I run a company called Calm Careers, and it's my job to help you feel a little bit better, feel a little bit stronger, and know what you want to do with your life. My company looks at careers advice, life coaching, and teaching relaxation skills. And one of the most important things for me is that people feel happy and confident, and that they feel okay with who they are. And we all have good days and we all have bad days. But it's about having more of those good days and about how we look around and help each other too. Another way we might want to practice our breathing exercises is to use something that's around us. So we might want to use our hands, or we might want to use something like a rainbow. These are everywhere at the moment, aren't they? I'll show you how to do this one first. We're going to breathe in through our nose and breathe out. Breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. In through our nose and out through our mouth. In through our nose and out through our mouth.
Thank you, Nikki. The question is, what items did Nikki use whilst practicing her breathing? So, thank you to all our partners this week. As promised, the answers to the questions are: car seatbelt law was introduced in 1983. For Tom's session, overloaded electrics, lots of things plugged into one socket. Crossing the road, you should never run because you could fall over in the roadway. The fourth object in the yoga session was mounting, and the TikTok minimum age is 13. For Nikki's session, rainbow pictures or your hand. So thank you for watching Safe and Sound. Stay safe and see you again next week, same time, same place.
Thank you, Paul, for hosting this extremely important broadcast today. And like Paul said, there'll be more of these broadcasts coming up over the next few weeks, so keep watching the Learn Live channel. I just want to say another thank you to all the speakers from Staffordshire Safer Roads Partnership, Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service, GIST, Staffordshire Wildlife Trust, Tamworth Borough Council and Calm Careers. The tips that have been given today are so valuable to know, so thank you. And as Paul said, if you have any questions for our speakers today, or you're watching this back as a recording, you can still leave your questions in the live chat facility next to the video player, where they'll get back to you as soon as possible. That's all from us today. See you next week as we have more speakers from Staffordshire Fire and Rescue, partners and agencies. You won't want to miss it. Bye for now and stay safe.
to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
I might be old, but I'm fitter than you kids, stuck in front of your computers all day.
If we leave now, we can get back in time for the Premiership match on telly.
Oh, you're right. Let's go.
We hadn't got far to go, but it was nearly time for the match to start. Uncle Dave was worried that we'd miss it. He hates missing a match.
Come on, you two, keep up. At this rate, we'll miss the start. Hang on, look, that looks like a path. We can cut across the railway tracks and take a shortcut back to the high street.
No, it's not safe to cross railway tracks.
Psh, I used to cross the railway tracks every day to get to school when I was a boy.
Yeah, but the rules are there to keep us safe. What is it you said?
If you want to be a winner, you stick to the rules.
You shouldn't listen to everything I say. I don't see what harm it would do. Can you even see any trains? I can't.
But the trains on this railway line are electric and get their power from an electrified third rail. It's really dangerous to stand on that rail. In fact, electricity can jump, and if you stand too close, it jumps towards you. You won't just get a shock, you could die.
We also might not hear a train coming.
Cheeky. I can hear just fine.
No, I mean none of us might hear the train coming. They're so quiet.
And it takes them a long time to stop, no matter what or who is on the track.
But what about the match?
Better late than never. Come on, here's an idea. Why don't we run to the high street? Show us who's fittest, right?
Now there's a challenge. You don't stand a chance. Ready, steady, go.
Here we are, safe and sound.
And in time for the match.
I suppose you're right. Lesson well and truly learned. I might be a winner at football, but you certainly know more than I did about how to stay safe on railway tracks.
As Uncle Dave learned, whilst the shortcut might seem like a good idea, it's not if it puts you in danger. Overhead wires and third rails carry powerful electricity which can jump towards you. Trains are also quieter than you think and can't stop no matter what or who is on the track.
The Track Pack, staying safe near railways. Find out more and join the Track Pack at funkidslive.com/railways.
Thank you, Shane and Ian, for that great read and the important information that you gave us about staying safe near railway crossings. Now, I'm sure you found it all very interesting and learnt a lot about the railways as well. If you have any questions for Shane and Ian, please leave them in the chat facility and they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Well, that's all for our primary broadcast today. But next week, we're back at 10 a.m. We have another amazing broadcast with Shane and Ian Aston again. But this time, Shane will be telling us all about his role and Ian will be doing his live read. You won't want to miss that. See you next week. And remember, stay safe near the railway.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.